All right. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat room. Just clear out of this here. That was an interesting impact we just saw, huh? Actually went a few minutes over, too. Had an overrun this week, surprisingly. Why they can't get that every week, I'm not sure. You can hear me. Okay, cool. Alright, so we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tonight. No more Arrow and Flash for one more week. They're back next week. I'm really not looking forward to talking about the Flash again, but there's only a couple more episodes this season, so hopefully I can make it. Hopefully. Anywho, put your questions and comments in the chat room on the right-hand side of the screen. I will get to them in just a minute, but first I'm going to talk about the episode here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 4, Episode 18, No Regrets. The truth behind Fitz's turn is revealed, and it's pretty much what most of us thought. Ada rejiggered things so Fitz's dad never abandoned him, and with his dad turning out to be a gigantic toxic piece of shit, you can fill in the rest of the blanks yourselves. Also, with Mac now working with S.H.I.E.L.D., the team start trying to rescue Daisy, which proves to be harder than they thought. A failed attempt lands them in a Hydra re-education facility. They manage to free some prisoners, one of whom being Trip, who it turns out is not dead in the framework. But things take a bad turn when Mace faces off against May, juiced up on Cal's super strength formula, and ironically, that's not what gets him killed. Who could have seen that coming? Fitz and Madame Hydra, who is named Ophelia, so I can't call her Octopussy anymore, unfortunately, order a missile strike to bring down the whole building, while the team are trying to save a bunch of kids, and Mace dies in the process. But they stepped in it on that one because May is so horrified by Hydra's actions that she brings the imprisoned Daisy a Terrigen crystal. Okay, stakes getting raised here. I'm starting to see the pattern of this Agents of Hydra story arc, where every week the situation gets progressively worse, but at the very end there's a glimmer of hope, where a member of the team remembers enough of who they are to realize what side they're supposed to be on. First Coulson, then Mac. This week May comes around. That just leaves Fitz. So he's going to be the hardest to reach and probably going to take it the worst when he realizes all the things he's done. Him and Mace weren't exactly friends, but the guy is dead, and Fitz kind of gave the order to do that, so there's a lot of stuff he's going to be wrecked with guilt over. And you did see the real Fitz kind of peeking through a little bit for a minute when he felt conflicted about killing Agnes last week, or the week before, one of those. Like whether he really needed to do it, whether it was necessary, until his dad kind of pushes the real Fitz back down. So Fitz is in there somewhere trying to get out, but it's going to take more prodding to reach him completely. He hasn't had the right triggers yet, like the rest of them. So, but yeah, we said goodbye to Mace here. Not that surprising. I didn't expect him to last the season. I really liked his death, though. You know, he had become the Patriot from the comics, and he died as the hero he always wanted to be. He got the gig in S.H.I.E.L.D. because the world thought he was a hero when he just kind of Forrest Gumped his way into that. And it was all kind of a fabrication. But then he became one for realsies. Yeah, that's a nice story. Good death scene, too. I mean, if you have to go, that's a good way to do it. Something else that's nice is a lot of the questions they're raising here in this story. You know, they're getting kind of philosophical with the debate of what makes a person, and you can see where this is all headed. In the earlier episodes, we had Simmons and Mac being really firm in their belief that the LMDs they're just robots. You know, they only do what they're programmed to do. They're not real people. It's all very cut and dry. But after this experience, Mac having a daughter that he loves in the framework, you know, Simmons kind of making peace with this version of Ward, and also seeing Trip there, whose death she always felt responsible for, they're going to be reconsidering that. We can see how Simmons especially is starting to feel less certain about how real or not real this framework universe is. Ward actually questions her about that. How do you know this isn't real? How do you know the place you're from isn't the fake one? That line is becoming increasingly blurred for her, and I suspect it'll be the same thing with Mac when he realizes where hope actually comes from. It may be a digital construct, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not real in some undefinable sense of the word. These are thought-provoking issues the show is exploring here. A comic book show that actually respects the intelligence of its audience and challenges them to think instead of treating them like they're idiots. Imagine that. And as long as we're talking about cool ideas, I couldn't help but geek out a little bit when Ada explained how her end game is basically to carry out Clue's plan from Tron Legacy, taking her army out of the digital world to conquer the real world. So she must be building a lot of LMDs outside of the framework. A lot of LMDs. Now, another cool thing about this story is that it provides a vehicle to bring back some characters that we haven't seen in a while because, well, they're dead. Which, I know some people got a kick out of. The Tumblr fangirls just about pissed themselves with glee when the aforementioned Trip showed up. Okay, I still don't understand the popularity of this character. I never really did. Not because they screwed up with him exactly, he just never really did anything. He existed for a while, and then he was gone. Ironically, the most meaningful thing he ever did on the show was get killed. But, hey, whatever does it for you, I guess. If you're happy about seeing Trip again, good for you. What I'm excited about is that Bakshi is back next week, and that's awesome. Hell yeah, man. I can't wait to see that dude again. Bakshi was a fucking great villain. So, now, I do have two gripes with this episode. Alright, number one. The Fitz thing felt like a bit of a bait and switch to me. And the way they marketed this episode was like, oh, the truth behind Fitz's turn could bring down all of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that was in the press release. And also in, like, the ad or something. They pushed that like there was going to be some big shocking reveal there, like he watched his mother get murdered by an Inhuman or something. And, there wasn't really. It was what most people thought, and it was just kind of casually thrown out there. Like, yeah, Fitz's dad never abandoned him in the framework, and here he is, and he's a huge abusive asshole, and that's why Fitz is like this, and this is a thing that most of you probably saw coming. I don't know, I thought there was going to be more to it than that. Like some big explosive inciting incident. And, no, it wasn't. They didn't really go for that. To their credit, though, they did take care to really explain this with Daisy and Radcliffe's conversation. That it's not always the big things that really change a person. Sometimes it can be the smallest things that have the biggest effect. So they're really taking the side of the latter in the whole nature versus nurture argument. That nature may give you a pull in a certain direction, but ultimately we're products of our environment. I get it. But I really want to see more of Fitz's dad, because if he's responsible for changing Fitz this much, they need to explore that. Because, just alluding to the fact that he whipped Fitz with a belt as a kid, I need more information. And number two, the May Mace fight. Gotta say, I was underwhelmed. You got two characters with super strength here. Think about all the stuff you could do with this. They could be like ripping telephone poles out of the ground and beating each other with them or some shit, or throwing cars at each other. But they don't go for any of that. There's one move at the end where Mace punches May into a cement wall and she cracks the wall when she hits it. And that was really cool. But otherwise, it might as well have just been a normal fight. They don't really take advantage of the super strength thing much at all in that encounter. I guess that other stuff wasn't in the budget after they did the building collapse, unfortunately. And also, something I just thought of. Last week, Radcliffe told Simmons that he had a back door out of the framework. but Ada shut that door down or something. And I think he said that. But this week he tells Daisy that it still works. Might be discontinuity, but the writers are normally really good about stuff like that. I think that might be a setup. Like Ada broke Radcliffe in the torture chamber, and told him that she'd give him Agnes back if he helped her lead S.H.I.E.L.D. into a trap or something. Otherwise, why let the prisoners talk to each other at all through the walls like that when they're so anal about security in the first place? Something doesn't add up there, so I think that might be a trap. Nevertheless, I think the pacing of this arc has been great. While the Ghost Rider and LMD arcs slowed down at certain points, this one hasn't lit up yet. They're just ratcheting up the tension every week, and now it looks like they're setting up some big confrontation with Evil Fitz next week. I suspect that will be when they get him to start remembering who he is, because they did tease that he was beginning to resist the framework programming in this one. I don't know if they're going to escape the framework next week. My guess is not, but I think that'll be when Fitz starts to come around. Then they've just got to deal with Ophelia. She is going to be pissed. Another great installment here. I think they saved the best story arc of the season for last. I'm not saying the May-Mace fight wasn't a disappointment because they just didn't capitalize on what could have been done with that scenario. But on the other hand, there was twists and turns, drama, high stakes. They're pulling no punches. Now, we said goodbye to Mace here. And, Mace had really grown on me, so it kind of sucks that he had to go. But, he got a great send-off, and, he raised the stakes in the process, like I said. So, another really, really fucking good episode here. Okay. And chat room. I wonder if real... Oh, hold on. Hang on. I can't seem to go to the top of the thing here. It's... Alright, it's not letting me go to the top of the... Hang on, let me reload the page, see if that works. Okay, here we go. I wonder if real-world Ada is really Madame Hydra. Madame Hydra knew Mace was dead, but Ada seemed shocked when she saw his vitals had stopped. Well, yeah, because she doesn't... I think the reason is that she can't really watch what's going on in every part of the framework. Because if she did, she would know where to find S.H.I.E.L.D. So I think when she projects herself into the framework, all she's seeing, she's Ophelia in the framework. So she's not some god who can oversee everything. So she didn't know what, when she found out that Mace was dead, she was finding out, when we were finding out. I think that's the reason for that. I wonder if the show would be cruel enough to have Simmons have no choice but to put down Fitz like Old Yeller to save another member of the team. I don't think that would be going too far. Plus, I really don't think she would. I don't think she would go through with that. Okay. I love Evil Fitz. I hope he's the new villain now. I really do. Yeah, well, I too am enjoying Evil Fitz, but this is a temporary thing, man. Don't get used to it. I'm not certain on Patriot's death. Considering Ada can bring people back, like that Russian guy, and create LMDs, I think he'll show up again. Well, the Russian was... the Superior wasn't dead when she got a hold of him. He was in bad shape, but still technically alive. Whereas Mace is kind of dead, so I don't think it looks good for him. See, I don't always agree with Mac, but his moral compass is consistent in every situation. Yeah, Mac's great. Say this is not just the Matrix anymore. It's clearly a different universe now. This is approaching Heroes Reborn, and I have a slim hope that it will ride over into the movies. I don't think so. No, the movie and TV divisions don't really get along right now. Some kind of feud between Kevin Feige and the other guy. I'm not really sure what happened there. But yeah, I think that's why we're not really seeing any proper crossovers, because the people in charge of the studios aren't really keen on interacting at the moment, which kind of sucks. Gemma is going to want some time apart from Fitz when they get out, but I have always expected them to break up at least once before the show ends. You want some time apart from Fitz? Possibly. I think I don't know. I think she understands that this is not the real Fitz doing this. This is the Fitz that Ada wants him to be. This is the Fitz that Ada basically programmed. So, not really sure you can really blame Fitz. He's basically Ada's creation right now. She's building a lot of LMDs. Or it's not a computer anymore. Now it's a Counter-Earth, like I've been saying. Movie writers, are you listening? No, it's still a digital creation. They're still just projecting their consciousness into a big fucking computer. It's not like this is a parallel Earth you can travel to. They're still in a computer simulation, just a really advanced one. I was glad to see Trip back this episode. The show seems so hopeless. Anything to help even the playing field is a welcome at this point, especially Daisy getting her powers back at the end. I was kind of hoping that Trip would turn out to be evil, just to see how the Tumblr fangirls would react to it. God. I mean, he died in Season 2, and to this fucking day, I still see gift sets show up in my dashboard of like, oh, the Trip lives stuff, and like, oh, don't take my sunshine away, Trip lives, and shit. Guys, he died. He died in Season fucking 2. Get the fuck over it, you know? And they're just encouraging the Tumblr fangirls with this shit. And now it's gonna start all over again. Oh, God. Have to give credit where credit is due. TGA has always said that Fitz would be the Mad Doctor, and that's happening in a sense. It's only, yes, but it's only happening because Ada basically rewrote all his memories and turned him into a completely different person. It's not happening because that's the real Fitz is turning into a Mad Doctor. It's a what-if scenario. Like, what if his life had been completely different and all his memories and influences and the people who brought him up were all completely different. He became a completely different person. This can only happen because it's not the real Fitz. It's Fitz being programmed to be someone else. Have the Skyward shippers been marking out lately? You know what? I haven't checked. I have no desire to check. No, I don't think I want to read that tag. Those people are just... No. No. Okay, you mentioned why Low-Key was wearing a suit in your tweet. They want him to be like the video game Hitman, even looking like the character in the game. Okay, but he looks like a fucking... It looks awkward as hell. Him wearing a suit in the match, it doesn't look good. Want him to look like a video game and two terrible movies. It doesn't really make sense. Okay, this the chat room is being weird. I can't seem to access the top things here. Okay. Got goosebumps after May helped Daisy get her powers back. Okay. been almost a week. What are your thoughts on the Star Wars The Last Jedi teaser? I already kind of talked about that. I think it's a great teaser. It gives you a little taste of what the story is, and some sizzle reel type stuff to get you hyped up and excited for it, but tells you almost nothing about what's going on. And that's the best kind of teaser, because it doesn't spoil anything for you. Okay. Does that mean Ward will be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Possibly. He seems to be second in command after Mace. It seems like the kind of twisted thing they do too, so it wouldn't surprise me. Some reports say it looks good that some reports it looks good that S.H.I.E.L.D. will get a season 5. That's good after 5 seasons and over 100 episodes. If it gets canceled, it won't be as bad. It will still go down as a successful series. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm not looking at the ratings, honestly, because I don't want to look at the ratings anymore. Because when I was looking at the ratings, all I was doing was getting stressed out. I know the ratings aren't what I want them to be, but I've heard that people at the network feel positive about the possibilities of another season, which I'm happy to hear. If it gets canceled after 5 seasons, you know what? I'm good. That's a lot more than a lot of other shows that I've been a fan of. I've gotten Firefly for one. 5 seasons. That's a good run. I can be happy with that. And I think I remember hearing somewhere that the writers had a 5-year plan when they started the show. So if they could tell the story they want to tell and then get out, that's good. That's closure right there. Kind of the same deal as with Battlestar Galactica. They told the story they wanted to tell. It took them 4 seasons to do it, and so they got in. They told their story. They put the period at the end of it, and they got out. And it was only 4 seasons, but I was satisfied, and I got closure, and it didn't feel like there was something left unfinished there. Okay, back next week. Hell yeah. Okay. Thoughts on Lucha Underground stars possibly going to be on Impact? Not that there aren't some talented people on that roster, but they got so many fucking people on this show already. They don't have enough time to feature the people they've already got, and they're still adding more. And now you want to bring the Lucha Underground people in? How are they possibly going to feature all these people? Like every match is going to be like a 10-man tag or something. And they're still adding more all the time. They gotta slow down. Try to focus on actually getting some of these people over instead of just introducing more like every 10 minutes. Hope they actually put Madame Hydra in an action scene next week. Hope she acts like Viper a little bit in the comics. Okay. All right. Yeah. Would like to see some more action scenes with Ada, because I really enjoyed her fight scene with May. As one-sided as it was, because I like seeing May get her ass kicked, because that needs to happen from time to time. Because May can't just win every fight she's in. It doesn't make for good drama, because you just think she's gonna win after a while. Okay. I'm so fucking tired of Simmons. It's not just a computer. Lady, your boyfriend is evil now. Get the fuck over it, Simmons. No, it is a computer. And Fitz is not evil. He's acting like this because he was programmed to act like this by Ada. I understand that's not what you want, but that's canon. Okay, what you're saying is your personal headcanon. I'm sorry, but that's what's happening. Alright. Alright, guys, try to save the wrestling stuff for the Impact stream on the weekends. kind of like to stay on topic here. Okay, we got a couple of Mizdow stuff. Damien Sandow, which for a couple of weeks. Okay, TGA is not a fan of Simmons. Don't know why. She's one of the best actors on the show and cute as fuck too. This shit has been happening in Counter Earth. So what's been happening in the real world? Like who is alive and dead, and what's going down with the LMDs and Ada and the Superior, etc. in the real world while they were in Counter Earth? And yes, I'm calling it that now. Well, presumably there's Daisy and Simmons and the rest of the team are still flying around in a jet because they don't know the location of Ada and the framework infrastructure or whatever you want to call it. They don't know where she's keeping the team, so I assume they're just flying around until they have more information. Ada's probably just hanging out at the base building LMDs. 100% sure Project Looking Glass is like the portal Ada created for her version of Madame Hydra to escape to the real world. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. What did you think of the Cloak and Dagger trailer? To me, it looks as dark, gritty, and serious as the Marvel Netflix shows, and that's a good thing. I have mixed feelings. It looks like they're changing the origin, which I'm not really against as long as you keep the spirit of it. The cast looks good. I think the two leads look more or less like I'd imagine Cloak and Dagger. There was an awful lot of soapy teen angst type of stuff, and not a lot of superhero-y type stuff. So I got kind of a vibe of... it looked a little bit too CW teen drama-esque to me. And maybe it was just a bad trailer. Maybe they just wanted to focus on introducing the story and the characters before saying, oh yeah, there's superpowered stuff too. But that's kind of what I was tuning in for. So I think I'll be more interested and excited once they start showing the actual like light daggers and the cloak of darkness and all that stuff. Right now I don't really know how to feel. I feel a little bit ambivalent. I want to see more though. I think this trailer was just focusing on the stuff that I wasn't too excited about. I'm excited to see like the superhero-y, like superpowers and stuff like that. And that's the stuff that just teased at the end. So let's see another one. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying I want to see more before I form a real opinion. Thoughts on Mike and Maria heading to SmackDown soon? Kind of depressed about it. I have a feeling that they will probably really waste Maria and not really take advantage of her abilities to get everybody around her over. She'll probably just be like a valet/manager for Mike and not much else. And it's kind of a shame. Those people are just what, FK? Go on, break my heart. Delusional. I'm sorry. If you're still shipping Skyward after everything that's happened, I don't know anything else to call anybody who likes that. I mean, Chloe Bennett herself was asked about this on Twitter. She says, no, I don't ship Daisy with Ward because Ward is a fucking Nazi. I mean, Ward was a psychotic remorseless killer. This was as bad, if not worse, than those people who were shipping Jessica Jones with Kilgrave. It's just not good. Okay. I think anybody who ships those two together has some serious issues they should probably be dealing with. I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel. The twist is that's how the rest of the crew escaped the framework and thus a way to probably bring Ward and Trip back. I guess. The thing is, Ada would have had to create LMD bodies for Ward and Trip, and considering they are S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in the framework, I don't know why she would have done that. I guess they were undercover agents working within Hydra, so maybe she created LMDs before she found out about them being that way. I don't know, I guess it's possible. Huh. Project Looking Glass is some kind of portal, which is why I say this is Counter-Earth and not just some Matrix anymore. Alright, well. Digital or not, we're dealing with something bigger than computers. They've all but outright said in this episode, for crying out loud. Oh, yeah, it's bigger than computers, yeah. I mean, there are elements of computers. I mean, it is taking place within a computer, but we're also dealing with a digital recreation of a world that was partly created through the use of magic. It's not just the Matrix, it's a magical version of the Matrix. I guess you could call it some kind of parallel reality, but it does technically exist within a computer. But yeah, the magic element does mean that the line has been kind of blurred. I'm not ready to call it a parallel Earth proper, but it's not just a computer simulation. It is a little bit more than that, due in part to the magic used to create this world. I also want to know what Talbot is like in the framework too, damn it. Me too. The show needs more Talbot. Firefly, Chris, you're bringing back all my past traumas, dude. I'm sorry. Man, you know what I would have given for Firefly to have 5 seasons? Man. What do you think of the Captain Marvel directors announced? Kind of an unconventional choice. I'd never even heard of these people. I think they did a couple of movies that I've never seen. I think they did some episodes of Billions on Showtime, and maybe some episodes of Homeland, possibly. I think, not really sure. Yeah, another unconventional choice. I'm not sure why they went with these two. Of course, a couple of years ago, I would have said the same thing about the Russo brothers, and look how they turned out. So, yeah, we've got no reason to question Marvel. Apparently, they were dead set on getting a female director, and now they kind of got their wish, I guess. Co-directors, one of whom is a female. Okay. Like I said, they haven't screwed up on a choice like this so far, so we've got every reason to believe they know what they're doing. If they think these two are up for the task of bringing Captain Marvel to the big screen, all right, I'll give them a shot. I would like to see some of their work though, because I don't think they've done anything on this scale before. Okay, I'm not trying to cause a Power Ranger discussion, but didn't you say that you weren't a fan of Tommy, but you were pissed to not see him in one of the series or something? No, I didn't say that. I did say I'm not a fan of Tommy, because I thought he was a Gary Stu character who completely took over the show, and it became all about him, and the other Rangers kind of got ignored a lot of the time, because he was always front and center, and it became the Tommy Oliver show, and guest starring the Power Rangers instead of just the Power Rangers, you know? I don't believe I ever said that I was pissed to not see him in one of the series. If anything, I was kind of glad when he wasn't there, you know? If you read Booker T's thoughts on the JBL situation, no, I have not. Part of me wants AOS to end in Season 6, because when Season 6 ends, that's when Phase 3 ends. Alright, well, like I said, because there's some kind of feud going between Marvel's TV and movie divisions, you're not likely to see much crossover anyway. Except in, like, except not in terms of, like, the actors crossing over or anything. More like just very subtle ways. So I don't think it would make much of a difference if it coincided with the end of Phase 3. Because you're not likely to see much of a crossover at any rate. My headcanon would have lasted more than 5 seasons. I know Lost mostly followed my headcanon, but it was on for 6 seasons. Oh, your headcanon was that the show would end without resolving fucking anything? And leaving the show on a million different mysteries that are never resolved? Okay. Thoughts on the announced roster for the new Warriors series? I'm kind of annoyed. They got Speedball, and they got Night Thrasher, and then a bunch of they got a bunch of other characters, some of whom were never new warriors in the first place. Pretty sure Squirrel Girl was never a new warrior. Fucking Mr. Immortal, wasn't he on like the Great Lakes event? The fucking like the Great Lakes Avengers or something. I don't know, like Microbe Debris. I think they were on the team long after I stopped reading. But it's a cartoon, and so I don't even know if I'm going to be watching it, because Marvel's animation division is kind of bad. I don't know, their TV division is good, their movie division kicks all kinds of ass, but their animation division needs help. There's some kind of disconnect there. I don't know what they just can't seem to get their shit together as far as cartoons are concerned. But yeah, I guess I'll check it out. I gotta support my boy Speedball. But yeah, I'm not expecting much. I keep my expectations low as far as Marvel cartoons are concerned, because I found all the ones I've watched in this era have been thoroughly underwhelming. Yeah, I'm still pissed that the Spectacular Spider-Man got canceled so they could do Ultimate Spider-Man instead. Fuck Ultimate Spider-Man. Really digging this face version of Ward. You know, it is nice to have a version of Ward around that I don't want to punch in the face all the time. It is nice having Ward around that's not constantly trying to kill the people I like, although he did almost shoot Fitz a couple episodes ago. Yeah. Thoughts on the Thor Ragnarok trailer? I'm not exactly sure how we got from point B to point C. Because after Thor: The Dark World, I thought this one was going to be like Loki impersonating Odin, and it seems like they kind of skipped over that. And like a shit ton of stuff has happened. Like all this shit hit the fan between movies 2 and 3, and so yeah, I'm interested to see how that happened. Also, how Thor got to how the Hulk got to. The fucking... Not Valhalla, no, that's not right. Asgard. Sorry, I can't think right now. Yeah, how did Hulk wind up on Asgard? You know, I'm interested to see how everybody got into this situation. Also, Cate Blanchett as Hela looks pretty cool. I'm still pissed that we're not going to get to see the Enchantress, though. But yeah, trailer looks really cool. I think this will I suspect this will be the best of the Thor movies. I say that not having really been wild about any of them. I like the first two, but for my money, they're probably the weakest of the MCU films. Do you have a second computer? If so, why? Because we saw you with another computer a couple times by now. Yeah, I have two computers. I have a laptop, which is over there getting recharged, and I have my desktop. And for a while, I only had my laptop, and then it started getting beat up and a little glitchy. So I bought the desktop, which I use as my primary computer. I only use the laptop when I have to leave the room. Does TGA ship Jessica Jones with Kilgrave or no? Oh, God, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. I kind of thought Jessica Jones and Kilgrave were cool together, but I dig drama and soap operas. Well, there's drama, and then there's shipping Jessica Jones with her rapist. If you don't understand the distinction, I don't know what to tell you. Ugh. Would you be down with a Becky Lynch versus James Ellsworth match since both of them want to do so? Man, you're at... If Becky's going to win the match, sure. But you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not watching SmackDown. Thoughts on Jinder Mahal going for the WWE title? I think it's kind of a joke. He gives Finn Balor a concussion, and you reward him with a WWE title shot? Okay. The guy hasn't won a match, and has he ever won a match? In his entire run in the company? I don't know. But hey, WWE want to increase their business ventures in India, and here they've got an Indian who looks like his heart's about to explode from steroids, so might as well push him while they've got him before his heart explodes, so they can get some traction in India. I get why they're doing it. Kind of wish they were doing it with someone who's not Jinder Mahal. Hottest Game of Thrones character in your opinion? Oh, God, if I had to pick one? I don't know. I'm inclined to pick Sansa, because I'm very partial to my redheads. I think I gotta go with Marjorie. Yeah, Natalie Dormer, she's just... Dang. Also, don't underestimate the hotness of Daenerys, but she's a little bit too cherubic. I think that's the right word for me. No, I'm going to go with Marjorie. And put Sansa at a close second, I think. And you're talking about Legends of Tomorrow again. I don't know why you keep bringing that up. Would you imagine Taylor Hendricks in Game of Thrones? If so, what role would that be? I think she'd have to be a Red Priestess, wouldn't she? Looking back now, was Mace's story arc a success? I think so. He starts out as kind of a nerd, a bit of a nerd, bit of a geeky guy who the team doesn't trust. He earns their trust over time. They kind of explain him how he got the job, how he got the job based on false pretenses. The world thought he was a hero because of a fluke accident, and he wasn't really a hero. He wanted to be, and he took the job because he wanted to serve his country and be of service. but kind of feeling like he was a fraud at the same time. And then he got exposed, and he didn't really know what his place was. But then he decided, no, I want to be the hero that people thought I was, and so he kind of sacrificed himself to help the team, and he got captured, and he got tortured, and he held up, and then they put him in the framework, and in the framework he became the hero that he always wanted to be, that he was pretending to be, and then he died saving a bunch of kids. I think that's a good story arc. I was satisfied with it. Let's see. Thoughts on Agent Carter? Well, we're going back a little bit here. You know, I think Agent Carter had a lot of good qualities. It also had a lot of problems. For my money, probably the biggest issue with the show is that it wasn't about what it was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be about the origins of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how Peggy really factored into that, and it wasn't really about that. It was about Peggy dealing with the sexism of the 1940s and dealing with a crazy scientist who is obsessed with Dark Force and stuff. And unfortunately, I think they got so caught up in they got caught up in the current wave of feminism and girl power and all that stuff that they kind of made. I think they were a little too afraid of making Peggy a flawed character. As a result, I know someone in the chat room who was really eager to chime in on that. They kind of made Peggy a Mary Sue at times, and you didn't really get to see as many of her flaws as I would have liked. And they made her like way too invincible. Like she won every fight she was in, and she got impaled and basically walked it off. And like, I think they were so afraid of making her flawed. They were so focused on making her as like awesome as possible that she didn't really feel like much of a real person. She became unrelatable a lot of the time. It had a good cast. There were a lot of good qualities. I like the actors in there. I love Dottie, and I loved things about the show. But overall, the series was kind of flawed and didn't really. You couldn't really decide what it wanted to be, and it wasn't really what it was supposed to be. And really, and ultimately, season 2 was not very good. Yeah, season 2 was pretty flawed and had a pretty bad finale, I have to admit. So, yeah, I mean, I think Agent Carter had potential, but ultimately that potential was kind of unrealized. It's kind of a shame. Okay. It followed my headcanon until the last 7 episodes where it started sucking and destroyed all canon. Coincidence? Talking about Lost? Well, in my opinion, Lost started sucking long before the last 7 episodes, but to each their own. Let's see, why is there a feud between Marvel's TV and movie studios? I'm not really sure. I know they kind of separated from each other a while back. I don't remember why. I'm trying to remember who did videos about this. Possibly Mundane Matt. Don't quote me on that though. I remember hearing about this in a video. I don't remember. For the life of me, I don't remember who made the video though. Maybe season 5, Coulson will get sent back in time and they can wrap up the Peggy story arc. Possibly. I tend to think that because Peggy is dead now in the present, that we might not see her again. I guess they could do flashbacks or whatever, but I kind of feel like Civil War was kind of putting the period at the end of Peggy's story. Anything can happen, though. See, the last good Marvel cartoon was the 90s X-Men. Spectacular Spider-Man was well written, at least. Not necessarily as fun, though. Wow, the 90s X-Men show was great, wasn't it? Not necessarily as fun, though? Dude, I think you're fucking wrong. Spectacular Spider-Man was fucking awesome. Also, Wolverine and the X-Men was damn good, too. And it only got one fucking season. Okay. Unanswered arcs for season 5. Ian Quinn and Graviton. Oh yeah, the Ian Quinn's still out there, and he's still got the Gravitonium. So that's still a thing. God, we haven't seen him since season 1, have we? I wonder if the actor would be available if they wanted to use him. Yeah. Wonder if they'd have would they be able to do Graviton on a TV budget? I don't know. Love to see him try, though. Guess the knockout division is... Alright. Agent Blake. Yeah, he's still out there, still working with the Watchdogs. I believe Titus Welliver has his own show now on Amazon or something, so he might not be available. They might have to resolve the Watchdogs thing without bringing him back, unfortunately. Oh yeah, what happened to Mike Peterson? Yeah, Mike Peterson's still out there. I think, what the hell's the guy's name? Damn, he's a Whedonverse actor. I should remember this. The name just fell out of my head. Yeah, I think he's on another show. Probably why we haven't seen him. Anything else you could think of that needs to be resolved? Well, now I've said this a number of times, but I've always felt like the main arc of the show was Daisy's journey from, outcast, being recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D. to becoming the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., like Daisy was in the comics for a while. So, to put the period at the end of the show, I think that's what they're building to. I think if they get to tell the whole story, I think in the series finale, the final episode, I think it'll be Coulson handing over the keys to Daisy, and Daisy becoming the new S.H.I.E.L.D. director. I think that's the direction they're going in. So I guess that would need to be resolved at some point. Unresolved stuff. Well, I guess they have to address the Felinda thing now, because they've been teasing that all season. It's not what I'm tuning in for. I never really cared for the Felinda thing, but a lot of people disagree with me on that. So okay. So I guess they gotta address that. What else? There's probably some stuff I'm not thinking of. Last good Earth Marvel cartoons were Spectacular Spider-Man and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Ah, yeah, that was a great one, too. And then they canceled it for that new Avengers cartoon, which is crap. I think Project Looking Glass is a way for Ada to get Dr. Fitz into the real Fitz's body. I think it's a way for her to get her entire army into an army of LMD bodies. Kind of what they were alluding to. I assume Dr. Fitz would also be one of them, so you're halfway there. Speedball, Night Thrasher, and Debris were new warriors. Microbe and Squirrel Girl weren't. No, I'm pretty sure Microbe was. I think it was in the reality show incarnation of the team. I love Squirrel Girl, so I'm okay with it, but I wish they had used Firestar instead of Immortal. Would have been better. Yeah, this doesn't feel like the New Warriors to me. If they're doing a New Warriors project, then damn it, I want to see Firestar and Nova and Namorita and like all the originals. I mean, have we even seen like Microbe and fucking Debris outside of like a few issues of the New Warriors in an incarnation that was pretty quickly canceled? No, I wanted to see the classic characters from the '90s team. God damn it! Dragon Girl isn't hot to you, but Crazy Redhead is. Who is Dragon Girl? Which one is Crazy Redhead? I don't know. I think Ian DeCasticker is killing this role. It's fun seeing people who play really goody-goody characters play evil jackasses. Oh, I agree. I like the switch too. Like I'm a big sucker for that kind of character dynamic. I've said that before. I think I said it last week. You know, character that starts out light and comedic and then goes to the complete other end of the spectrum and turns like really dark and terrifying. It's kind of why that's why I like the Speedball becomes Penance story arc in the comics. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that kind of development. So I'm enjoying the Evil Fits thing. Yeah, and DeCasticker is really good too. I read. Did you see Nostalgia Critics video on Fan 4 Stick? Yeah, I saw that one. Let's see. Thoughts on Christina Von Eerie? You know, I haven't really seen much of her lately, or anything of her lately. I believe she ditched the mohawk at some point, which is good because that thing was damn silly looking. But I assume she's going to be showing up. I guess that was kind of rumored to be happening at the last set of TV tapings. Didn't happen, but I figured it was coming. So I guess she's coming in now. Okay. Not who I would have gone after. I just still think they're stupid to not make an offer to people like Shauna or Jennifer Blake. But hey, Christina Von, but neither of them were in GFW, so of course they got to go after CVE. Whatever. Like I said, I really haven't seen anything she's done lately, so I'm not sure what kind of wrestler she is right now. Hope she's good. If you had it your way, if you got any of the Avengers to appear in AOS, who would it be? Any of them? Well, they couldn't do Hulk, obviously. I don't know. Iron Man, War Machine is too expensive for TV. I think Captain America would be cool. But I don't know, it's a spy show. I guess Black Widow would probably make the most sense. Season 5, I want to do crossovers with Netflix and Freeform shows plus the Inhumans. I think Inhumans is most likely since they'd be on the same network. Freeform, I guess you mean Cloak and Dagger. I'd say that's unlikely because it'll be Cloak and Dagger's first season, and they've got a lot of other stuff to establish. Not saying it's impossible, and I'd love to see it, but I don't think that's going to be at the top of their priorities list. Oh, Dragon Girl's Daenerys, redhead is the Red Queen. Oh, okay. Uh, Fitz's dad is played by the guy Catwoman pushed out the window in Gotham Season 1. Ah, yeah, that's right. I thought he fucking looked familiar. Yeah. P.S. Gotham is still a mess. Now, Gotham has gotten better, actually not nearly as bad as it was. Not nearly as bad. Well, yeah, I'm still not watching it. Sorry. I watched a piece of an episode on YouTube recently, just to see what people were talking about. Oh, it's gotten so much better. It's much better. I watched a little bit of it. Seemed inoffensive. Apparently, Poison Ivy is an adult now somehow. Don't know how that happened. I'm not really interested in finding out. And last episode of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Inhumans coming to bring Daisy to Attilan is a possibility. I guess. If they wanted Daisy to cross over into the Inhumans show. Favorite sandwich of all time? Well. Been a while since I've been to Subway. Well, when I go to Subway, I always have a certain sandwich that I get. I get wheat bread, turkey, American cheese, lettuce, those purple onions that they have. And then I have ranch. I put ranch dressing on there and oil and vinegar, hot sauce, honey mustard, and American cheese also. Did I say that? Yeah, but that's my sandwich when I go to Subway. I want to see Phil in the movies. That's my series finale. You know, it makes no goddamn sense that he hasn't revealed that he's still alive. Why do they have to let the Avengers continue to think that Coulson is dead? It makes no fucking sense anymore. Why they're still keeping it a secret? They faked his death. Fury faked his death to motivate the Avengers. They're motivated now. They've been motivated for a long time, and they're still keeping Coulson's resurrection a secret. Makes no sense at all. Okay, is there anything else I need? I found your Enzo slam very funny in your other video. Which one? Which one was that? You gonna check out Edge's new podcast? Yeah, potentially. Honestly, I don't know if I can handle any more media from the internet right now. I think I'm probably getting too much input as it is. I should probably be spending less time on the internet, not more. So I don't know if I have the time of day to start listening to another podcast, but yeah, who knows. And that, I think, is going to be about it. I want to go eat some dinner. And I also have to be up kind of early tomorrow for stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Also, I have to work on Saturday, but I get out earlier than usual. So apparently I should be done working by like around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about the Impact stream. I might try to do it on Friday just to get it done, or I might do it Saturday night if anyone is considering being around for that. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. So, or I could just push it to Sunday, like I usually do. But we'll see. So once I make a decision about that, I'll post a notice on Twitter about it. So follow me for updates at TheRealFK9 on Twitter. And I will talk to you guys at some point for the Impact stream this weekend. Again, don't know when that's going to be just yet. But I'll let you guys know when I know. So, yeah, see you in a couple days. Take care. Bye.